the talented, the artistic Niket Gibler. Now you see, Gibler beautifully captured the essence of Sir George Cooper II's wispy hair in this narrow portrait. Now you may be wondering, why am I exaggerating so much on this narrow portrait? Now this portrait is said to be so narrow because it illustrates that Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, was in a league of his own. He was the only person who could think to such a capacity as to integrate the marvellous creation of the Wolf of Wall Street with a historic figure known as Wolsey. This went on to sell millions and millions of copies of not only audiobooks, which came out in 2000, 200 years after this portrait was drawn, but also millions and millions of digital copies of this here portrait. You can also see how, going down slightly, you just see this black void here. Now this void just resembles how spacious it was inside of Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey's head. There was so much room available for creative thinking and bending the rules of space, time and reality. Moving down further, you can see just a glimpse of the forehead. Now Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, was not a fan of foreheads. He believed that they truly were a waste of time. So he chose to grow his hair, the black void, out as long as possible, so it would simply be void and then glasses. This brings me on to the wonderful glasses. These are intricately drawn while still remaining only a silhouette. This allows the viewer of a portrait of Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, to imagine what could be beyond this layer of glasses, showing that Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, can see all through the help of his spectacles, but you cannot see beyond them. Much like one-way glass, anyone speaking to Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, would feel as if they were being interrogated. And this can be seen in his work, The Wolf of Wolsey, as said prior. The Wolf of Wolsey would contain all sorts of anecdotes and historical evidence to personal experiences from Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey. Moving down slightly, we have his nose. Now this feature is often overlooked, however I find it personally very important to me. The nose marks the centre of his perfectly symmetrical face. As can be seen, here on this side of the nose, we have exactly, from the original dimensions of the painting, 1.27 centimetres. And to the right of the nose, we have exactly 1.277 centimetres. This shows that although Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, was not perfectly symmetrical, he could change the world. And in every single book that was made after the creation of the Wolf of Wolsey, you will find a dedication to Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey. Moving slightly down from the nose, you see more empty space, simply a skin-coloured blob with no opening. Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, didn't need a mouth to voice his opinions. He had the works of the Wolf of Wolsey, and that was all Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, needed. And moving down, you have the only just in the portrait shirt and blazer. Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, truly was a professional man. He would be able to change himself to any situation, and you would never be sat there thinking, Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, looks slightly inappropriate, because Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, invented fashion. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
What was this picture drawn?
So this picture was drawn, as I said, in 1867, in the great cathedral in London. Yes?
What was your favourite part of this marvellous portrait?
I think, just from the description I gave, I would have to say that the nose truly is my favourite part, because I think it captures the essence of everything Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, was. Yes?
Is there any merch that I can buy regarding this image?
Merchandise is coming out in a few weeks.
Can you elaborate on why the nose is so wonderful and how
So-
it encapsulates the Wolf of Wolsey?
As I said prior, the nose is so symmetrical, yet slightly not. He's off ever so slightly to the right. And Gerhunk truly captured this when they created this painting. They wanted Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, to seem ever so imperfect, whilst maintaining that perfect aura that comes along with someone as infamous as Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey.
You seem to be a bit overly obsessed with this Sir George Cooper guy, whoever he is. If one was too obsessed, where could they go for help?
If one finds themselves obsessing too much, Childline is accessible 24/7 at 0800 111. Ruben?
Why have you neglected to mention the magnificence of his ears?
Now, I did run out of time, I was a little bit pressured, but I will more than happily go in depth of the ear. As you can all see, these are quite abnormal ears. Most would expect ears to probably look a little bit like this. However, as you can see, Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, ear is significantly smaller and into his head. This signifies how Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, was not a particularly egotistical person. He was very down to earth and he kept everything to himself, including his ears.
Could you repeat the artist's name again, please?
This was drawn by Niquette Glimron. That is French for penis. So, as I said right at the very beginning, I don't know if you can remember, Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, had to sit for 6.5 hours, and Niquette struggled from a rare condition known as eye glondulitis. Now, eye glondulitis means that if you are staring at something for an extended period of time, and that subject moves, it will appear similarly to the motion blur here. However, it could also be down to the fact that Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, was quite a penny pincher and didn't particularly want to spend money, so he paid Niquette literally £5 to produce, in today's money, it was approximately a shilling back then, to produce this masterpiece.
What is there a known cure for the items you mentioned?
There is no known cure at the moment. However, it is said if you stare directly at the sun for an extended period of time, it will get worse.
How long did it take to draw?
So, as I said at the very beginning, God, I'm repeating myself now. Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, sat still for 6.5 hours whilst this was drawn of him. So that means it would have taken about 6 hours and 31 minutes. Yes.
And do you know where you could buy the original of this painting?
Now, the original is locked away in a glass display cabinet in the Tate, London. Britain, the Tate, Britain. You can go ahead and visit it, however, I doubt that you'd be able to buy it unless you have a lot of money.
What materials were used in the creation of this?
So this is a digital copy, so it is a JPEG on a hard drive. However, the original was painted on sheepskin canvas. Now you may be thinking, why on earth would someone paint on sheepskin canvas? Now may I remind you that Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, did not spend very much money on this, and a sheep had died in his back garden. So he assembled the timber frame of the canvas and simply glued the sheepskin to it. Final question.
What kind of paints were used then? Were they oil-based, water-based?
So, as Sir George Cooper II, creator of Wolsey, was particularly stingy with his money, just pretty much anything you could find, This here was actually just sheep shit. Thank you for coming. How on earth do I speak for 10 minutes about George's face?
Jesus Christ!
Oh my God.
Why?
Recording.
That's fucking quality.
I thought he was joking when he was
Yeah, same. It's fucking great.
Almost
I mean,
done.
Benji, you can't.